Hey, Cameo, you're live too. Putting your butt in front of me, hey? I can't see through your butt. I can't see through your butt. Let's have a look here. Let's bring this down a bit. Yeah. Oh, there's some butt tail. Hi, everyone. Just thought I'd do a bit of an impromptu live stream for half an hour, 45 minutes. No, if nobody joins me, that's fine. It'll still be on the live, you know, on the thing. But if you haven't joined me before and you'd like to, please feel welcome to. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be reading. Well, there's been some question of Michelle Obama. Hello. Anita Larson. Hello. Hi, Zelda. Hi, T-Barb. Shelby Lisa. Hello. Hi, Tiger. We've got little girl. Yes, you just saw a flash of little girl there. Yeah, I just thought I'd do a bit of an impromptu live session. It's not going to be, it's going to be an hour at the most, okay? Just, you know, yeah. So I'm not quite sure what to read on today. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on, guys. Hang on. Oh, sneezy. Hi, Rolanda Baker. I haven't seen your name before. And Anita Larson, I don't know if I've seen your name before. Welcome, both of you. And everyone else, of course. Will Trump be named by Ghislaine? I might look at that tomorrow on my regular session. How would you guys feel like doing something a little bit different today? I mean, is there any... We've looked at things like the Loch Ness Monster. We've looked at things like aliens. Are they on Earth and stuff? I mean, I don't mind doing political stuff. Yeah, night owls. It's 12:41 p.m. Saturday here, so it's also Saturday. But Ghislaine, will Ghislaine name Trump? That's going to be a good question, isn't it? The other question that's popped up is, will Michelle Obama, is she in Michelle Obama, is she up for VP? What about a change in the money system? Yeah, changes to commerce. We can have a look at that today if you like. If you don't mind, if you want to hang it in, come back tomorrow morning or Saturday night, your time, we can do Ghislaine Maxwell and Michelle Obama there. I don't mind taking down questions for tomorrow while we're on here, but it'd be nice to do something a little bit different. And how that changes to the commerce system or the money system, as Tiger. That's a really interesting question. Hi, Robin Arvin. Changes to the money commerce system. A cash society or a cashless society now a lot, because you know not many people are here to take cash anymore. It's, you know, please use your card. Yeah. I haven't been watching a lot of TV lately. At least not much of other readers. Not that I don't respect them and love watching them. I just had a lot going on. So I haven't really taken the time out to do that. And B, I just want to settle in myself. So will we have a safe vaccine from the UK? Yeah. We can have a look at that tomorrow too, if you like. I'm writing it down. So if this is for Sunday, vaccine from the UK. I mean, I'm also today changes to the money or commerce system. I reckon that's a really interesting one to look at today. Changes to the UK, and I'll look at the UK too tomorrow. Look at UK tomorrow as well. Wow. Are aliens really humans from the future? Time traveling. That's interesting. That is an interesting question. Yeah, I thought today we could do some different ones, but if you've got some questions, you know, on the normal strain of things, I'm happy to write them down. Deaf Santa's land. Oh, that's a cool one. That. Yeah. So how about we start with that? Let's have a look at changes to the commerce system first. Okay. So let's have a think about what deck I should use. I'm going to go for 1001 Nights, Los Caribbeos for that one. Hi, Shoop Shoop. It's nice to see some night owls here with me. And yeah, like I said, this is not going to go any longer than an hour today. I usually have a couple of hours spare during the week because I do my Sunday and Wednesday 2 hours on each day, but that's still, I don't use up all of my hours, so sometimes I like to surprise you guys. I have no coins in the store. It's all right. Hi, GMAR5. So we're going to have a look at the future of the money system or the commerce system. The economic and commerce systems that we've been using. Trump furious over military ban on Confederate flags. Oh, poor thing. Okay, so let's have a look at that. What's on the bottom? The Venerable Man 5. This is the Hierophant. So government. So there may be some changes to government rules on commerce, perhaps. Let's have a look. The wheel. Look, in the current, it's bound to happen. I mean, with the bashing that economies are taking from this this virus and all that, it's bound to happen. The Two of Swords. There's going to be some critical decisions made. I got in my head the Two of Wands. Choices. Different choices, plans. This is interesting because you've got these two guys sitting here and they're looking out over this city. You know, and it's like they're saying, well, we've got to go down into this city and we've got to, you know, trade and buy and do things. So let's make a plan on how we're going to do things. One of the things that went through my head when I read Tiger's question was barter system. And I do know that back in the days of the Depression and all that, a lot of people couldn't afford to pay for things with cash. So they might have some chickens or something. And you hear stories of, you know, food being given for services and stuff like that. Or you could have a place to sleep and 3 square meals a day for doing work around an area, you know, on a farm or something. So people are looking out at their options of how they can do things as well. Until how they can support each other, how communities can support each other. But there's also going to be some critical legal changes as well. The Swords, legal. Hi, Sharon Saib. Hi, Teresa Balthazar. And thank you very much for reminding people of the like button. The Four of Chalices, the Four of Cups. Yeah, people aren't happy with the way things have been going with the economy. Despite what somebody says, they're not happy with what's been presented to them in the past, and not just in the past 4 years, from the government in general over the last few years. They feel like cash is the only way to go, and surely there's better ways. So they seem to be a lot of people are turning, you know, aren't interested if it's, you know, they've turned into it. If it's not cash, I'm not interested. But an apathy towards, you know, paying for debts or paying for services, and they've just sort of fallen into this pit of, well, I don't know what I can do, and forgotten about old ways of doing things, which include barter. Got the bound man here, which of course is the 12th card, which is the Hanged Man. Double check that. I'm sure of that, but sometimes I like to double check. So yeah, because the different decks have a different reading. So we've got the bound man here, the hangman, and we've got, he is saying something to basically his slave master or his owner or whoever has him bound there. And the owner is looking over and they're startled by what they're saying. And it's like, look at me as more than what you see. See, there is more to me than what you see. So a change of perspective is possibly coming along. Five of Pentacles. It's odd. This person's feeling out in the cold. Well, it's the out in the cold card normally. But here it's an old person who has been left out in the cold and on their own, or a cold stone bench, but somebody has come up with a platter that has got, obviously had some food on it, and a cup with some water to feed and look after this old man. The servant is there, and there's somebody else who prefers to remain anonymous. Donations and sharing of services. So there's going to be, I think, looking towards more how you can help people who are out in the cold too, what services there can be. And more of a sense of looking after each other, looking after people in the community, maybe people who up till now may have been forgotten, like a lot of elderly people who have been in these homes and been left to just sit there, and now they're being lost to this thing. And I think it's sort of changing a bit of perspective on, they're losing people. And hi, J Cat Lady. Hi, Linda B. So this whole change of perspective. I think at the top line seems to have been the government and looking at making decisions on how they can handle the economy better and laying out plans for that. The second line seems to be the community. The community, the base grassroots community. Well, yeah, but what they've offered us hasn't really helped that much in the past. So it's a little bit apathetic. So what can we do to change the ways to change things, change people's perspective on how an economy can work, and what can we do to help others in the community? So there's going to be a lot more community commerce, whether it's bartering services or raising money for shelters or feeding programs. The third line, we've got the Three of Cups, more support. That leads into more support. So more community support. And we've got the Empress, abundance, but not just of, it's not necessarily an abundance of material wealth, but an abundance of grassroots resources. Again, that abundance. There's so many little systems out there that there's an abundance of different ways in which you can help each other and provide. Of course, the Empress is also a mother figure to help look after each other, look after the community. I think there's going to be a lot more community focus in economic times, and maybe the Seven of Cups. This is interesting. It's like this old guy, this girl's coming out of the mist and she's absolutely in the buff, and this old guy's going, oh no, I don't need to see that. There's going to have to be a clearing up of old beliefs, that have been instilled within the last 20 years or so, that those old systems are they're all very well in like a place that's got 50 people, but they're not suitable for cities. There's old beliefs about, systems that might work okay in rural such and such, in a small town with a few hundred people or whatever, but they don't work in larger communities, and of course they do. So busting away some of those beliefs that have slowly come in, where if you're in a large place, cash is the only thing that works. No, that's not necessarily true. Yeah. When will the madness end? Oh, my goodness. I wish I could tell you it would end tomorrow. The world is going through a big change. And it's like, not until every place has been touched and made to realise that we're not invincible, you know. I'm in the luckiest place on this planet at the moment to be with regard to this virus. And I think Spirit and anyone else I can think of to thank every day for that. And we don't take it for granted, at least in our household we don't. We are aware that we're both very vulnerable if this virus got to us. So we are taking or trying to, we're falling down a bit this week and in trying to look after ourselves and make ourselves healthier and things. But I don't know. When will the madness end? Seems to me sometimes that one form of madness ends and another starts up. But maybe that's just me being a bit cynical today, my darlings. Did I freeze? Have I frozen for somebody? Yes, everyone in Portland, please stay safe. I'm not going to do political things today, but I am happy to write down questions for tomorrow. So, So if you want a question you want me to look at tomorrow. Hi, Sonia Johns. I haven't seen your name before. Thank you for joining us. Does seem like endless crap, doesn't it? It really does. Oh, I think firing Inspector Generals is just a new game for Trump. Who can I fire today? Make me feel like a big man. You know. Yeah. Crazy Cat Lady Farley, hello. If you put in a comment and I haven't said hello, it's because I haven't seen your name yet. So, you know, I do try and say hello to everyone who comes on. I just so appreciate you all joining. And so, now, let's have a look at this question. Oh, is it Tiger? You asked this question as well. Are aliens really humans from the future who are time traveling? That's a really interesting question. I'm just going to have one last drink of my iced coffee and let's have a look. What deck will I use for this one? I'm going to use the Voyager Tarot for this one. I like sometimes to use some decks that I don't use as often. This is the Voyager Tarot by James Wanless, and the artist is Ken Knutson, or Knutson. I don't know how that's spelled. It's an extraordinary deck. I might need to use the book on occasion with it because it's very different. But, oh, wow, sometimes it's just a total trip sometimes. So, yeah. Debbie Ann, hello. Incoming. I love that. What a way to introduce yourself. Absolutely awesome. Incoming. Yes. Yeah, the mayor of Portland, they tear gassed him because he's a Democrat and because he's going out there and supporting his people. Because they're idiots. So, hi, Debbie Ann. Artist Girls Reality, hello. Howdy. So, are aliens humans from the future who are time traveling? Let's have a look. I'll tell you what, J Cat Lady, I just saw your comment about your grandkids and now your great grandchildren. I'm going to write down a question for you for tomorrow. Will there be a I don't know if cure is the right word, but will there be a treatment? We'll go treatment, because I don't know that it can be cured, but treatment for autism. And you know, my great nephew suffers from Asperger's, yeah, so he suffers from a form of autism, and yeah, for autism in the future. Way to help these kids. Way to help these kids. Because what they have now, I don't know. That Michelle Peterson, hello. Margaret Wheeler, hello. Welcome. And welcome, Michelle Peterson. So we're looking at, are aliens humans from the future who are time traveling? Narrowness, 9 of crystals. That's on the bottom. The 9 of crystals, crystals is thoughts, anxiety, people who can't or who are afraid, either can't or who are afraid to broaden their mind, or just simply don't have the capacity to move beyond a certain narrowness of ideas and thoughts and beliefs. The idea of even being aliens, either if they're aliens or even if they're not aliens, if they're humans time traveling from the future, that causes them anxiety and it frightens them. They can't understand it. So it scares the bejesus out of them. And narrowness of thought is one of those things that can just cause anxiety, because you can't see a way around these narrow set of beliefs that's just been instilled in you from the day you were born. and even trying to look beyond it can scare you. So even the idea of this scares people, a lot of people, witless. And it doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean they're ignorant, or, you know, they can be very smart about a lot of things, but there's some things they just can't see beyond this predefined definition of, and it scares them. So it's an idea that scares people, whether it's alien or time traveling from the future. Love, 3 of Cups. Courage, 7 of Wands, standing their ground. Sorry, guys, I'm just bringing something up on my screen. A reference. Good night, all. Night, Sandra Henderson. I will be looking at your, trying to look at your question a bit tomorrow. Hi, Lucian. Hi, Teresa, Judy. Where are you going oops for? Yeah, I need to go oops. Unless you go, oops, I did it again. Crack me up. We've got a yes and a no here. One, the magician, the ability to manifest things. There's a lot of love for the idea of it. There's a lot of support for the idea of it. The 7 of Wands is courage of your convictions. And this is, to me, it's the scientists are standing their ground and saying that there's no evidence of time travel. No evidence of humans being able to do this. No scientific evidence. Yes, you might see these images that pop up on the internet. People say a proof of time travel or this or that. But there's no real scientific evidence here of them doing it. But that doesn't mean that there aren't the components out there in the world that if they're brought together properly, it could never happen. It seemed to me that the components are out there for it to happen. They just haven't been brought together to manifest such a thing. Those of me who are long-time watchers will know that I am trained in the sciences. So with regard to time travel, I tend to stick with the hard and fast. There's just no scientific evidence. But good scientists always have an open mind. That's just to say, just because it hasn't been achieved up to now, that doesn't mean it won't happen at some stage. But as to yet, there's no evidence of it happening yet. So it's such a mixed conundrum of things, isn't it? While there's a lot of love for the idea, Man of Wands, creativity, that I think is the King of Wands, but it was reversed. So where's the book? I think that's the King of Wands. Man of Wands is the King of Wands, I think. Yeah. And I haven't had, now here's an interesting thing. 20 is space-time, which is judgment. That's called space-time in this deck, and that hasn't come up yet. So that's interesting. So Man of Wands actor. Your wands are the masks and costumes you wear. The ability to be different personalities, man or woman, courtesan, warrior, bird or beast. You can see all those things in here, in this deck. The ability to transcend roles and security and identity. This is reverse. So that ability, why there's a lot of support to it, this is reverse. So those abilities to transcend the scientific securities we have at the moment, or scientific certainties that we know of at the moment, aren't there. And it's interesting because I don't have reversals in this deck. It's not that I'm aware of. So three of crystals, 3 of swords. So that's a no card as well. And so is the 7 of wands. That's a no card as well. And so is this. And because this is reversed, what is normally a yes card is a no card. So 3 of crystals, 3 of swords. No. The lovers, yes card. It is something that, as I said, and this is interesting because it's on top of the magician. So the components are out there and they just need to be brought together in order to achieve that transcendence. That blinding flash. We've got the 2 of wands and purity. There are people out there who really truly do believe that this can happen, and they're making plans. They make plans for, despite what's in front of them, they're making plans for when they meet those people, or maybe when they themselves can travel, time travel. Ace of Wands, illumination. That doesn't mean that it's certain scientifically curious scientists aren't thinking about ideas and getting ideas about how this could possibly happen in the future. I fully believe that there are scientists out there employed to look at these things and come up with ideas and how to manifest this ability, but it hasn't happened. Seeker, child of wands, page of wands. This to me is they're seeking that breakthrough. This is this page of wands, the orator about action. They're seeking a breakthrough. It's mature. It's the start of things. So they're really at the start of maybe, and this is interesting because it comes through with everything, all the components needed for this to come together. They may be at the start. Maybe tiny at the start of some breakthroughs, but there's still a long way to go from it happening. So no, at this stage, no. But then it's, there's always that conundrum. Well, yeah, it can't happen now, but if they did it in the future, then they can come back. But at this stage, there's no evidence. Even they're seeking evidence of it, but it's still so much in its infancy. But there's a strong belief that it could happen. So it's a really interesting question, and thank you very much. But at this stage, all I can say is no. you can never discount the possibilities, but there's no scientific evidence of it having happened. It's such a strange thing, isn't it? When you see all those paintings that are thousands of years old and depicts people like in spacesuits, what can only be described as spacesuits and things like that. I guess the best I can say is that we haven't started doing it yet. How's that sound? Like, and there's been nobody's been able to pin down the proof of it happening, but overall, wow, that is a very different dream. You put the wrong emoji up, Teresa Judy. Yeah, I believe in spirits too. I believe that, you know, just from things that I've seen. I don't know about people sitting down and talk to you, but I do believe that they come and see you like they're just checking in for a few seconds, and it's those movements you can catch in the periphery and stuff. Hi, Ms. Lady. How are you? But that was a very different reading. I hope you found that interesting. Yeah, so no, that's not to say that there aren't aliens, and I've done a reading on aliens before. This was, are aliens really humans from the future? And my overall reading on that was no, we don't have that capacity to do that. Has anyone got anything else that we can look at today that's a little bit out there? I've got about 15 minutes before I'm going to hop off. So after my father passed away, T-Barb, he had lots of electronic gizmos around the house, computers he'd been working on, DVD players, this, that, and they all one by one just went snap, 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 stopped working or burnt out or things like that. You know, it was like Mum was not going to be able to do anything with them, so he just decided, well, we'll just let them go. And soon after my uncle passed, it was actually before I'd even, no, day or so after my uncle passed away. He passed away in New South Wales and here in Perth and in our old unit. And I was in the bedroom and in the little hallway outside the bedroom. I saw a short person just walk through the hallway. And my husband's not overly tall, but for some reason I thought it was James, my husband, even though he's taller than this. But I thought it was him, that he might have just, you know, ducking out. And I called for him and he was out the back in the courtyard. And I just sort of, once I realised it wasn't James, I sort of thought about it and thought about the size, and I just knew it was my uncle, who was a very diminutive person. And it was him. So, you know, How about some legend? You want to have a look at some legend. And while we're still here, I've written down some questions that you guys have given me to look at tomorrow. Will Ghislaine names Trump? Maxwell will put that there. Michelle Obama, will she be up for VP? Will there be safe vaccine from the UK? Have a look at the UK. Will there be a treatment for autism in the future? Anyone else got a question for tomorrow? Hi, Larry girl. I've got about 15 minutes left to go. I'm just doing just thought I'd do an impromptu 1 hour today. I'm taking some questions for tomorrow for the normal political stuff, but we're actually looking at some things that are a little bit different today. If you've got a question for tomorrow, I'm happy to write down. But also, has somebody got something a little bit unusual that we can read on today? We've already looked at changes to the money or commerce system. And are aliens really humans from the future, time traveling? And we've done that one. Do a legend. What legend? What sort of legends? There's lots of legends. There's Robin Hood, there's King Arthur, there's, you know, Selkies. What legend? What legend can we do? Now, I've looked at leprechauns, I've looked at dragons, I've looked at fairies, I've looked at mermaids, I've looked at the Legend of Zelda. Oh, Zelda, come on. That's a video game. I'll be on at my usual 9 a.m. my time tomorrow, which is whatever the equivalent is. East Coast, it's 9 p.m. your time. I can hop on. Oh, the Mothman. Oh, don't make me. The Mothman scares the bejesus out of me. I don't want to touch him. Sorry, Zelda. Sorry. The Mothman scares the bejesus out of me. King Arthur. King Arthur. That was put there first. Okay. We're going to look at King Arthur. I even have an Arthurian deck we can look at. But do you reckon that'd be cheating a little bit? We might use a different deck for him. Okay. Will the economy tank before the election? I'll write that down for tomorrow, Kate Sweetblue. Will the economy tank before? I am willing to bring my readings Sunday and Wednesday readings forward half an hour to like 8:30 my time, if you guys would prefer that, before the election. But yeah, we'll do King Arthur today to wrap things up. I'm not going to use the Arthurian tarot because I reckon that's cheating a little bit. So what deck? Llewellyn? No, that's a bit Arthurian. What about the Enchanted Tarot? This one. They're huge cards. They're gigantic cards, but they're beautiful. Lots of different colours. Bigfoot. I've done Bigfoot before, sweetheart. J-Cat lady. He's a bit of a favourite of mine. I could do a quick check-in on Bigfoot. So how about we do a quick check-in on Bigfoot? See how the big fellows are going. And fellows, as I think they're all around the world. Okay, so I'll do a very quick check-in on Bigfoot and then we'll do King Arthur. How's that? So just, I use my little purple purple and gold cards for Bigfoot. The big guys. And then we'll do King Arthur. Is Bigfoot real? And you bet he's real. You bet he's real. And he's in our dimension. They're just the Bigfoots, the Yetis, the Yowies, which we call them here, all those sorts of things. They're just a cryptid family, a family of cryptids. There might be some changes, physiological changes, depending on where they are in the world. They're all the same family of cryptids. Were there giants on Earth? Oh, that is such an awesome one to ask too. Were there giants on Earth? Oh. You're going to make it hard for me to keep this to an hour, aren't you? I can't resist reading. Let's see. Bigfoot, Yowie, Yeti, Sasquatch. I think there's some physiological differences depending on where they are in the world and all that, but I do think they're all the same family, cryptid family. Let's have a look. Let's do a check-in on the big fellas. The sword, look, the truth's going to come out about them. And they are there. Yes, they are there. And yes, the truth will come out. Page of Swords, there are people who know for sure. There are people who know for sure. And they are telling their stories. But there are also people out there who just want truth and they continue to be disappointed. I don't know why there are those who go out looking and continue to be disappointed, why they continue to be disappointed. But there are also people out there who do know the truth and who are saying the truth. There is going to be a change of perspective about these beings, and they are beings, this family. There's going to be a change of perspective in them soon. King of Pentacles. It's interesting. Money and resources. I think they're a patriarchal society. I think they're a patriarchal society. I think that's what this means, King of Pentacles. Someone who, you know, assigns tasks in some way. Knight of Pentacles. Oh, there are people out there who the only game in going and investigating and looking into it is to make money. No, they're just make money off these things. That's wrong. There are going to be victories with regard to these beings. Three of Wands. Information is coming in about them. The Empress. Here again, I've got a matriarchal thing coming too. It's interesting because this Empress has a pomegranate in her hand. So there could be something that is affecting the female population. And thus affecting maybe future family lots. Queen of Cups. Yeah. I think in some areas the females are there's something affecting them. They do tend to have a patriarchal structure. It's such an emotional, and perspectives are changed on, and there will be a change of perspectives on these creatures. There's going to be a victory for them in some way, and a new emotional or a new maturity in viewing them and in treating them. But yeah, in some areas, some of the females, there's something happening. They're a bird, yeah, you know, just all this hunting for them, it's a burden on them. They are shy. High priestess. Their preference is to remain hidden. And, you know, this is people and greed, and mercenary people and greed, and, you know, it's the same cycle we as a society get into with people, animals, groups who just don't want to be found, who don't want to know. We go in there and we cause havoc and we cause disease. So, yeah, the truth is going to come out about them. We're going to find out more about their structure. Very patriarchal society. But, you know, things are going to happen the way that things do. Ships are going to come in, people, and it's going to cause more of a burden to this society, and I'm calling it a society. Disappointment, disappointing news, mercenary people, illness amongst the females. There's always someone with their own agenda. Need a perspective. These people are change of perspective. These are societies that need to let be, to stop hunting them. I know a lot of people want to do it for good, for the right reasons. There will be victory in that area at some point, and a new emotional stability being introduced. But there's always going to be people that want to exploit. Exploitation comes out here as well. So, yeah, they're doing it. They're finding it harder and harder. I know. I can't blame you for going, grrr, tiger, because I feel that way too. Now, King Arthur. I'll just put these cards here aside. King Arthur. Let's have a look at King Arthur. Hang on. I'll leave King Arthur till last. I'll just do a very quick reading on Were There Giants on Earth? Strange thing. I asked, were there giants on Earth? You know the thought that went through my head? Yes, Bigfoot. Yes, Bigfoot. They're big creatures. Well, have a look. But I think people think more of giants, like people like giants. King of Swords. That flipped out. That's it. Maybe card. 10 of Cups is a yes card. Families. 8 of Pentacles. Work, work, work. Looking for details. Workman. Wheel of Fortune. News is going to come out eventually. The Sun. Illumination. The family groups. People are working, looking for details. 9 of Wands. They're getting. You know what? I think the giants are Bigfoots. Not just were, but are. 2 of Cups. Family relationships. 9 of Swords. Critical decisions. The first thought that came into my mind was, yeah, the Bigfoots are giants. Which I might have a read on that again at a later date, just in case it wasn't a bleed on from, you know. But it's like, yeah. But it would make sense. But I think I'll do a reading on giants again at a later date. Okay, King Arthur, and then I'm going to have to go, my darlings. So let's have a look. The Enchanted. Look at the size of these cards. Look at the size of these things. They are huge. This is the average size of a normal. Just how big are these things? So, King Arthur. Turn them up the right way. King Arthur. Just look at this. Look at. Try to shuffle these things. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Holy moly, yeah. I've got another deck that size too, which is the Golden Tarot. So, King Arthur. What's the story with King Arthur? Let's have a look. I'll do a series of triangles asking a different question with each triangle, okay? So, hi BMC, you've got me for the last reading of the day, which is we're looking at King Arthur. Look at it. What is the story with King Arthur? And if I haven't said your name while you've been on, I do apologise. Like I said, I try to keep a look. Rhonda Laseko, hello. Paper cut. No, they're too thick for a paper cut. So, what is the story with King Arthur? Hey, did he exist? Well, let's have a look at what's on the bottom first. High Priestess. Well, a story. A story. It fit it into somebody's agenda. So, let's have a look. Did the big fella exist? Strength. It is a very, very strong tale. It is a strong tale and it stood the test of time. Prince of Pentacles. Prince Rich, the one who would go out and work or hire themselves out. Magician. Strong, the powerful person. Somebody who had the ability to manipulate situations. I think there was somebody out there who the tales were based upon, but basically it was this person who was a very strong person, who was a person in power in their area at least, of localized power, also somebody who would go out, ride out and gather things for their fortune. So we've got strength. Isn't that a beautiful card? Beautiful card. A very strong person who would ride out into the environment and be gone for a long time. This is the slowest moving knight, the Knight of Pentacles. So they'd be gone for a long time each time, and it'd be gather resources. But it was also somebody who would have held the sway of power over people. So a local prince, a local leader. I think there was a person who these tales, they were used as a centralized figure of fantasy for these tales. Okay. So Was there a King Arthur? There was somebody who was used as, there might have been a couple of other people added in as well, but there was somebody who was really the centralized figure who was the inspiration for King Arthur. Was there a Guinevere? Let's ask that. Was there a Guinevere? Oh, 2 of Hearts. That's a big yes. 4 of Swords. It's remained in the background, very much a background figure. So not as much to the forefront as she is in the tales. The Emperor, a consort. So there was a Guinevere, a consort to an emperor. But again, I think the person who initially came up with these tales may have been a traveller, someone who went from community to community, from principality to principality, and where in this one place they found their inspiration for Arthur, it was another place that they found their inspiration for Guinevere. She was a consort. She did exist, a consort to a leader. So the wife of a leader, beautiful, but someone who generally remained in the background. So may have been her physical beauty that inspired her to be not so much any, believe it or not, at the times these stories are set, women had quite a bit of autonomy in some areas, but in others not so much. But she was definitely someone who remained in the background, who, with the 4 of Swords, someone in the background who was at rest at the back. Maybe even somebody who died young, and having died young was an inspiration for that. Was there a Lancelot? Let's have a look. 7 of Pentacles. 8 of Hearts, 8 of Cups. Oh, this is telling me no. 6 of Wands. No, there wasn't a real person who Lancelot was based upon. Oh, was there a Merlin? That's a good question. So Lancelot himself, no, there wasn't an actual person who he was based upon. That it was in order to have the tale of heartbreak and betrayal. It was a character that was needed to reap what you sow in that tale, and a character where, depending on the tale you look at, he rode off with Guinevere and lived happily, or he had but he was victorious in the end because he had supposedly a good heart. But 6 of Wands, no, he was victorious in the end, 8 of Hearts, but walked away. Yeah. His victory was hollow. Reap what you sow. This is the character that was, but there wasn't actually a person who Lancelot was based on. Was there a Merlin? King of Pentacles, that's a yes. Someone who had money and power. 5 of Wands, somebody who liked to cause a little bit of conflict. And the Hangman. So somebody who had money and power, yes. They like to cause a bit of conflict. That's a no, but the Hangman is a maybe. So yes. Somebody who liked to suspend disbelief, a bit of a manipulator. So yes, there was a person around there who was used as a basis for Merlin, and it was a local leader. I think this person looked to local leaders because he didn't really, person who came up with this tale originally didn't, he mixed with those higher echelons of society. He was educated. So, yeah, he was a clever person who saw character flaws in, or character flaws or character strengths in people, and that's where, using those is where he decided to base people. But he didn't really find any. So it's interesting how he found 3 real people to base Arthur, Guinevere and Merlin upon, but he couldn't find that romantic at heart idiot that was Lancelot, because they really didn't exist back then. So that was, Lancelot was not based on any real person, but the other 3 were. What about Morgan Le Fay? Let's have a look at her. Was there a Morgan Le Fay character? The hermit, somebody who kept to themselves. King of Swords, somebody who had a real belief in justice. 6 of Pentacles, somebody who believed that power should be shared. So I think Morgan Le Fay was based on a real person, but not a person of bad character, just aspects of her. Morgan Le Fay, the character, I mean, she had some of her birthright stolen from her. Her father stolen from her, you know. She had this half-brother who was the product of magic and who basically reaped the rewards that should by rightfully have been hers. She felt that should rightfully have been hers. She felt she should have been given more of a share of the power than she was. So there was someone who, I think this person was someone who was isolated because she had a belief in justice, but not just a belief in justice of the law, but social justice and a belief in sharing of wealth. And there's always been those people there, but they've often been pushed to the outskirts of society. Okay, let's up. Was there a real place that inspired Camelot? Let's ask that. The Star, a place of hope, a place that gave hope to people. Ace of Hearts, a place where people felt that they could, these are both yeses, by the way, where people felt that new relationships could happen. Queen of Pentacles, a place of resources, a matriarchal. Yeah, I think there was, I don't know, some estate or something that appealed to this person, whoever it was, that had a very matriarchal bent to it. A lot of people came here for hope and healing, possibly. Emotional, somewhere that people went for healing. It could even have been like a convent or something. Avalon, I suppose, was some place like that. But it was a place that represented hope to people, and in the legends, Camelot was a place of hope and equality. Where everyone's word was heard and counted. Okay, one last question. Was there really a hunt? Oh, no, second last question. Another vital figure in the Arthurian legends is Galahad, who was Lancelot's son. Was there really a Galahad? Let's have a look. 2 of Pentacles, 5 of Hearts, loss, Princess of Hearts. A surprising figure. Yes, but the person he chose was not the pure heart. The person he based it was not a pure-hearted person. He was a manipulator who really didn't have time for regretting the losses he inflicted on others. Stop crying over spilt milk. It was a bit of a hard-hearted ass. Emotional immaturity. So I think it was basically more based on looks than anything else. So did people really go and hunt for the Holy Grail? 5 of Pentacles. Out in the cold, no. Ace of Swords. Yes, they've been searching for the truth. 7 of Wands, standing their ground. People did, and quite often they were lost, never returned. A lot of people died on the Crusades. So, of course, it's the Crusades. Yes, 2s came out, and they were standing their ground for their religion. So, of course, yeah. So that is my reading on Arthur. King Arthur and all those around him. There were actual people who were the basis for these characters. I'll just do a few more cards. Tell us a bit more about the storyteller, the original storyteller. And then I'm going to have to go, my darlings. Tell us more about the original storyteller. So I've left the cards out that I've had before. So these are all the cards that we used before. I've left them out. So with what's left of the deck, tell us a little bit more about the original storyteller for the Arthur legends. Journey, a journeyer, a traveller, somebody who was on a journey. Somebody who was always looking for change, yeah. Always looking for a new way of doing things, or maybe he was looking for a new place to start over. He wanted change. I think from the nature of these stories, somebody who was very educated, very into detail. From the nature of these stories, 4 of Pentacles, somebody who was not happy with the status quo. I think it might have been somebody who was a bit of a social reformer, and these stories were a bit to call for social reform. The 2 of Wands, somebody who had the ability to travel across dominions. So it was a traveller of some sort. Somebody who was a bit of a social reformer. Queen of Wands, that's a social reformer card. A Queen of Wands is compassionate, looking for new ways of doing things. It's a social reformer. It doesn't mean it was a woman. Temperance, somebody who was looking for a new balance, a way to create a new balance in society. Very much a social reformer. Somebody who was wise and whose judgment was often sought. So it could have been a travelling magistrate or something even. I don't know if they had them back in the day, but something that was the equivalent. But then I always thought that magistrates were the local lords of the manor. So not a traveller. Someone whose judgment was revered. Queen of Hearts, again, looking for emotional stability. And the Hierophant, the church, somebody related to the church who may have been a bit of a social reformer, who was the original genesis of these stories and who came up with these stories originally based on people that they came across. I think it was somebody who was a traveller. Prince of Wands, yeah, a story, an orator. No, that's sorry, that's the Page of Wands. Sorry, a Prince of Wands, an investigator, a king's man. A king's man, definitely a knight. Nine of Wands, an embattled person. Yeah, he was just embattled. Family was at the heart of him. Yeah, very much a social reformer, whoever this person was. And I think these tales were basically a disguised call for social reform. When you think about hearing about the egalitarianism, the round table and all this sort of thing, it was a social reformer, and I think it was a disguised way of calling for social reform in a time where, you know, it was very much feudal serfdoms and things like that. So there you go. How's that? I hope, my darlings, that you have enjoyed it. I have quite a lot of questions written down for tomorrow, so thank you for your input there. And I hope you've enjoyed the slightly off the cuff and different readings that we've done today. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me, and I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay.